Picture this. It's a Monday morning. You're 67 years old. Your alarm goes off at 6:15 a.m., not because you want to wake up, because you have to. Because the bills don't care how tired you are. The mortgage doesn't care that your knees hurt. And Social Security, if it's even still around, barely covers your groceries. Now picture someone else. Same age, same neighborhood, maybe even the same income for most of their life. But they woke up this morning without an alarm. They made coffee slowly, read for an hour. Their money has been working for 15 years while they slept. They are not rich, they are free. What's the difference between those two people? It is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is not inheritance. It is one mistake, made quietly, repeatedly, across decades, that most people never even realize they're making. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what that mistake is, why almost nobody talks about it honestly, and, most importantly, the specific steps to make sure you are not still punching a clock at 70. Stay with me until the end, because the last section of this video contains the most counterintuitive part of this entire conversation, and it's the piece that financial advisors almost never tell you. My name is Leo, and I've spent years studying one specific question. Why do some ordinary people, teachers, mechanics, nurses, small business owners, end up financially free in their 60s, while others, who earn just as much, or even more, end up financially trapped? The answer is not what most people think. It's not about how much you earn. It's not about finding the perfect investment. It's not about timing the market. It comes down to one core mistake, with 5 specific ways it shows up in real people's lives, destroying their financial future while they think they're doing everything right. Let's get into it. Here is the mistake that keeps 80% of Americans working until they die. They spend their entire lives earning money, but never owning anything that earns money back. Read that again. They earn. They spend. They earn again. They spend again. And every single year, they are completely dependent on showing up somewhere to make money. The moment they stop showing up, the money stops too. That is called being an earner. And there is nothing wrong with earning money. But if earning is the only thing you do with money, you will work forever. Now contrast that with an owner. An owner earns money and converts a portion of it into things that earn money back, without them having to show up. A small business that runs without them. Index funds quietly compounding in the background. Robert Kiyosaki called this the difference between working for money and having money work for you. But here's what he didn't explain clearly enough. The gap between earners and owners is not created by big dramatic decisions. It's created by small, invisible mistakes repeated thousands of times over decades. And I want to walk you through the 5 most dangerous ones. Mistake number 1 is called lifestyle creep. Here's how it works. You're 28. You get your first real job. You make $45,000 a year. Life is tight, but you manage. Then at 32, you get a raise. Now you make $60,000. Great, right? Except, almost immediately, your expenses rise to match. You upgrade your apartment. You get a newer car. You eat out more. You take a real vacation. And somehow, at the end of every month, you still have almost nothing left over. At 38, you're making $80,000. At 45, you're at $95,000. And somehow, every single year, you are saving roughly the same percentage of basically nothing. This is lifestyle creep. And the terrifying part is, it feels like success. You look more successful. Your life feels more comfortable. But your net worth is barely moving. Because every raise you earned went directly into a bigger lifestyle, instead of into assets that build wealth. Here's the number that should wake you up. The average American household income has risen significantly over the last 30 years. But the average retirement savings for Americans between 55 and 64 is just over $134,000. That sounds like a lot until you realize that at a standard withdrawal rate, $134,000 generates roughly $500 a month in retirement income. $500 a month. Meanwhile, the average monthly expenses for a retiree in America are over $4,000. Do you see the gap? Lifestyle creep is how people who earned millions of dollars over their career end up with almost nothing to show for it. The fix is simple, but it requires discipline most people never develop. Every time your income increases, keep your lifestyle the same for at least 6 months. Take 50% of every raise and redirect it directly into assets. Not a vacation, not a car upgrade. Assets that pay you back. If you had done this with every raise since age 30, the math is almost shocking. A person earning $60,000 who saves and invests just $500 more per month than their previous lifestyle required, over 25 years at historical market returns, ends up with over $500,000 more than someone who spent every raise, same income. Different decision, $500,000 difference. Mistake number 2 is what I call the debt identity trap. Most people think of debt as a temporary problem, something you're in and then you get out of. But for 80% of Americans, debt is not temporary, it is a permanent state of existence. If you carry $6,000 on a credit card at 24% interest and make only minimum payments, you will pay that debt off in over 17 years and pay more than $9,000 in interest alone. You borrowed $6,000. You paid back $15,000. For what? Things you probably don't even own anymore. And here's the devastating math most people never see. That same $6,000, invested at a historical 8% annual return, would grow to over $28,000 in 17 years. So the real cost of that credit card debt is not $9,000 in interest. The real cost is the $28,000 in wealth you never built. When you carry high-interest debt, you cannot take career risks. You cannot invest in opportunities. You cannot weather emergencies without going deeper into debt. You are financially trapped, and the trap tightens every single month. The fix here is ruthless and non-negotiable. High-interest debt must be eliminated before almost anything else. Not reduced, not managed. Eliminated. Every dollar you put toward paying off a 24% credit card is a guaranteed 24% return. No stock, no real estate, no investment on earth offers you a guaranteed 24% return. Kill the debt first. Mistake number 3 is the one that haunts people the most when they finally understand it. I call it the retirement delay illusion. It sounds like this. I'll start seriously saving for retirement when I make more money. I'll start investing after I pay off this debt. I'll get serious about this in my 40s. Here is the brutal mathematical reality of that thinking. Let's look at 2 people. Call them Sarah and Mike. Sarah starts investing $300 a month at age 25. At 35, she stops completely. Never invests another dollar. Total invested, $36,000. Mike waits until 35 to start. He invests $300 a month, from 35 all the way to 65. Mike invested 3 times more money than Sarah. He was 3 times more disciplined over a longer period. Who ends up with more money at 65? Sarah. By a significant margin. Because of compound interest, the force Einstein reportedly called the 8th wonder of the world, Sarah's early decade of investing outweighs Mike's 3 decades of catching up. Every year you delay is not just 1 year lost. It is the compounded growth of every future year that is lost. The people who end up working until they die are almost always people who delayed starting, not because they were irresponsible, because they were waiting for the right moment. There is no right moment. The right moment was yesterday. The second best moment is today. Even $100 a month started at 30 beats $500 a month started at 45. In most historical market scenarios, start now, start small, but start. Mistake number 4 is the most dangerous one because it feels completely safe. It's called single income dependency. And it looks like this. You have a job, a good one, maybe, steady paycheck, benefits, maybe even a pension. Then one day, a layoff, a health crisis, an industry disruption, a company acquisition, an AI replacement, and that single rope you were hanging from gets cut. And you discover that 20 years of loyal employment left you with no financial foundation of your own. Here's a number that should concern everyone watching this. According to Bureau of Labor Statistics data, the average American will hold 12 different jobs before they retire. And the average job tenure is now just 4.1 years. And yet most people still build their entire financial life around the assumption that their job is permanent. The wealthiest ordinary people I have ever studied all share one characteristic: multiple streams of income. Not 10, not 20, even just 2 or 3 changes everything. A rental property that pays $800 a month, a dividend portfolio that pays $400 a quarter, a small side business that generates $1,500 a month. These are not fantasy numbers. These are the real numbers of real people who built them quietly, over years, while keeping their day job. When your job disappears, and statistically, it will at some point, you want other income streams that keep flowing regardless. That is the difference between a financial crisis and a minor inconvenience. And mistake number 5 is the one that makes all the others possible. It is the financial education gap. Think about this for a moment. You spent 12 years in school. You learned algebra, you learned the branches of government, you learned the periodic table. But when did anyone sit you down and teach you how compound interest works in your favor or against you? what the difference between an asset and a liability actually is, how to read a financial statement, what a Roth IRA is, and why it might be the most powerful tax tool available to a middle-class American. Nobody. You were handed a diploma and sent into an economy designed to extract money from people who don't understand it. Credit card companies know this, car dealerships know this, mortgage lenders know this, and they design their products specifically for people who never learned how money actually works. Here's the hard truth. The financial decisions you make in your 20s and 30s, most of them made without proper education, determine whether you work until 70 or retire comfortably at 60, and the gap between those two outcomes is not talent, it is not luck, it is financial literacy. The good news, unlike most things in life, this gap can be closed at any age. One book, 1 hour a week of genuine financial education, one decision to start treating your money like something that deserves serious attention. The Millionaire Next Door, Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Psychology of Money, The Total Money Makeover. These books collectively cost less than a dinner out, and they contain knowledge that could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Now, I want to be honest with you about something. If you recognized yourself in any of those 5 mistakes, let me give you a simple framework. 5 actions, 1 for each mistake. Doable this week. Action 1. Calculate your lifestyle creep. Write down what you spent last year versus 3 years ago. If your spending grew faster than your savings, you have lifestyle creep. Commit to keeping your lifestyle flat for the next 6 months. Action 2. List every debt you have and its interest rate. Rank them highest to lowest. Attack the top one with everything you have while making minimum payments on the rest. Action 3. Open a retirement account this week if you don't have one, even if you can only put in $50 a month. The habit matters more than the amount right now. Set it to automatic so you never have to think about it. Action 4. Identify one income stream you could build outside of your primary job. Not 10, just one. A skill you could freelance, a property you could rent, a dividend stock you could start buying monthly. One stream. This year. Action 5. Read one financial book this month. Just one. Treat your financial education with the same seriousness you give your job skills. Because your money will outlive your career if you build it correctly. Most people think financial freedom is a money problem. It is actually an identity problem. Somewhere along the way, most people accepted an identity. I'm not a money person. Finance is complicated. That's for rich people. I'll figure it out eventually. And that identity, that quiet self-story, determines every financial decision they make for the rest of their life. The people who retire comfortably are not smarter, they are not luckier, they simply decided, at some point, to become the kind of person who takes their financial life seriously. That decision changed how they read, what they talked about, what they said yes to and what they said no to, and over 20 or 30 years, that identity compounded into financial freedom the same way money compounds in an index fund. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to start with a lot. You just need to make one decision today. I am someone who takes my financial future seriously. Say that. Mean it. Then act like it. And 10 years from now, you will be the person your friends and family look at and wonder, how did they do it? And the answer will be simple. They started.
If this video helped you see one thing differently about your money, drop a comment below telling me which of the 5 mistakes hit closest to home. I read every single one. And if you know someone, a friend, a sibling, a parent, who needs to hear this before it's too late, share this video with them right now. It might be the most valuable thing you do for them this year. Hit the like button if you made it this far. Subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.